All right, let's see what's going on here. Are we live? Are we live? Let's see if we are live. It look like okay. All right, let's see. I want to make sure that we live. What is going on here? I might have to check the website, my YouTube channel. Go to the channel and see what's going on. Guess not. All right, let's see. Let's see. What's going on, Aunt Jay? What's up? What's up? What's up? What is up, bro? I'm trying to see where is my stream on my channel. It says I'm live, but I don't see it. I want to make sure everything is good. Okay, there it is. There it is. What's up, Bubba Gump? What's up, Aunt Jay? All right, I see y'all. We good. We good. We good. I was wondering what was going on. I didn't see. The way I got this set up is kind of weird, but it's all good. It look like we good money. Yeah, yeah. It look like we all good. Yeah, I'm waiting for this press conference to start because I want to see what these guys are going to say. Because there's a lot been going on, and they've been pretty much silent for the past, what, 10, 10, 11, 15 days since all this stuff been going down. So we need some answers. So I need to know what's going on. Yeah, yeah, it look like everything's straight. We good. We good. It sound like the audio is good, so that's great. I appreciate y'all for being here early this morning. I normally would have a pre recorded episode for y'all, but so once I found out this press conference is gonna be at 9:30, well, I said 9 o'clock. I said, well, that's the same time I put up the podcast anyway. So I might as well just go live so we could talk about this instead of give you my thoughts and opinions on whatever else that I thought that was going to be happening. So we're gonna wait and see once they go live. I'm gonna listen to what they have to say, and we're gonna go from there. Look like the desktop audio is good. I want to make sure that's straight. And so once they go on, the audio is good. All right, that sounds like the audio is straight. Then it sounds like we're good. We're good money. All right, that sounds like the audio is straight. Then it sounds like we're good. We're good money. I want to make sure y'all hear that because I tried to play it back. It sounds low. I'm gonna cut it up a little bit. So let me know if that's good because I want to make sure that we can hear Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith's excuses. Oh, I mean explanation. I want to make sure y'all hear that because I tried to play it back. It sounds low. I'm gonna cut it up a little bit. So let me know if that's good because I want to make sure that we can hear Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith's excuses. Oh, I mean explanation. Okay. Yeah. All right. We good. I want to make sure y'all hear that because I tried to play it back. It sounds low. I'm gonna cut it up a little bit. So let me know if that's good because I want to make sure that we can hear Terry Fontenot. So is it double talking? Oh, I mean explanation. Okay. Yeah. All right. We good. All right. So we straight. So welcome, man. Yeah, yeah, man. This should be interesting to what they say. it's gonna be interesting to what they say. I need to know this because I need some answers. You know, we need some answers straight up. Thank you, Norman Fitzgerald. Appreciate that. I'm glad that y'all can hear that. So basically, they should be going live within the next few minutes. So that's why I wanted to get on here early. Welcome, man. I want to get on here early so I make sure all this stuff is set up good. Look like everything is straight. The stream looks good. I need to know this because yeah, the stream looks good and we're good money. We ready to go. So I'm just waiting for them to go live. So once they go live, we can hear what they got to say, and we'll just run it from there, and then we can all have our reactions of what we think of what's going on, and definitely we'll have this rocking and rolling real quick. It really, let's talk about like how we feel now. Like right now, I'm kind of. I want to keep an open mind. I want to keep an open mind about this because there's nothing you could do about what's happened. So I want to keep an open mind about what took place and try to turn it to somewhat of a positive. I'm thinking even to the point that we could probably still win some games. And because at the end of the day, regardless of how this next season is going to be, a lot of people saying it's a good time to tank or whatever. And I don't disagree because I know what 2023 is about, but I really don't want to walk around with the tag of a loser for a whole season. I don't want to have my team going like 2-15 or like 3-14 for the whole season. I mean, it's going to be obviously going to be a lot to talk about regardless if football games are played, but I still want us to win. But how does that happen? How does that happen when you basically, I say you kind of destroyed the team from the inside out. I mean, it's one thing if you add players in that are just bad players, but you took all the good players out. You know what I mean? And like I said, this goes all the way back to number 11 when he didn't want to be here. Like, let's be honest, why he did not want to be here. Is it because he was, because the thing about that, and I'm going to be brief about him. The thing about him is like he has all that talent. Somebody should have came in with a fire behind for him to be excited to play. Cause he's not even excited to play anywhere. Let alone just Atlanta. It seems like he don't even want to play in anywhere because he was the same way with the Titans. So that then the Calvin Ridley thing, I don't know how that. Why I'm starting to think, is it because you got a new regime and they're used to one way and they got to deal with it? I get it, but it's like I think they did a good job with the Julio Jones situation because they got a pretty good deal out of it. We definitely won that trade out of with Julio. I mean, we got a second round pick and they got like 10 games and 400 yards production. So we definitely won that. I don't know what's going to happen with I don't know what's going to happen with Calvin Ridley because with Calvin Ridley, is he still worth? Would he be worth the second round pick when he returns? You know what I mean? Would he be worth this? I mean, that's a good question. Would he? I think his draft value like decreases immediately. So we may not get much for him once if we do trade for him, or if we let him walk. Then the whole and what we're here for is this Matt Ryan situation. I want to know, what was the whole process behind that? And we got a third round pick for that, which is, you can get some quality players in the first 4 rounds of the draft. You can get some quality players. There's no doubt about that. But you can't replace a Matt Ryan, man. I don't think you're going to replace somebody like that. Whoever they get with that third round pick, I highly doubt that they'll be here for 14 years and be competitive and play at a high level for 14 years. You're not going to get that type of, return. Y'all got to understand. I mean, y'all do. I mean, y'all are smart. I don't have to worry about y'all, not, debating anything or not knowing. Matt Ryan came in as the number 3 overall. I think it was number 3 back in 2008. Gave us 14 years of his life as the quarterback. like I said in my video yesterday, we're not going to. I don't think we'll ever see somebody like that in the Falcons uniform again. Not the way free agency is and how the type of players we have now. I just don't think we're going to have that type of. I don't think we're going to have that type of player that wants to be here for that long anymore. I just don't see that. Let me see. So let me see if I could zoom this in a little bit, because I look like I'm way in the background somewhere. Is that close enough? Yeah. That's good. You know, so I'm not sure if we're going to get somebody of that caliber of player. Not in the third round. I mean, yeah, you're going to get some quality players, but the way free agency is and everything behind that, I don't think we're going to get anybody that good to be around for that long. Hell, I don't even think we'll get somebody that's mid to be around that long. I don't even think that we'll get anybody that's bad that'll be around for that long. You know? False Star Falcon says, I might not be the only fan that's not sad. There's nothing wrong with moving forward. No, there's nothing wrong with it. No, I'm not sad about the situation. I was more sad about the Colts press conference. I was okay all the way up until I saw that. When you see a visual on an individual that meant so much to your franchise, and clearly the franchise meant a lot to him, and you see that he's upset, you see that he's hurt, and then you turn around and see how this fan base treated him. That's the sad part about it, because we don't deserve a player that gives his all and wants to continue to give everything at the same time and wanted to be here forever, and you treat him like that. Now, I can understand if his production was falling off or whatever the case may be, but you don't go 26-11 without a number one receiver. That's not on him. You know what I'm saying? You don't come up with this type of production without these type of with this type of receiver. Corp, you lost your true number one. You lost your fake number one. Okay, wait a minute. We about to go on live. You don't lose your number one. You don't lose your supposed to be number one. You don't lose all these receivers, and your top receivers is Russell Gage, which is not a knock on him. His position wise, but he's not a number one. You don't lose all those players and still go 26-11. So I don't think he fell off. I still think he could play at a high level, and he wanted to play at a high level. And that's the part that's the part that's sad. That you had a guy that really wanted to play here and still could play at a high level, and he's upset that he had to leave, and people don't appreciate that. I mean, not you guys. I mean, like I said, y'all guys understand what's going on, but I'm talking about like, I'm talking about these fair weather fans, these haters that don't understand what they have until it's gone. Now all of a sudden you see on social media everybody's giving this guy praise. We've been trying to. I mean, I'm not a Matt Ryan homer, but I understand what I see in front of me. I understand that this guy could ball. But like you said, Press Start, I do understand, I understand moving forward. But it's not like it's not like we giving away Vic Beasley or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we giving up a mid player. Somebody that's, okay. If this man wins against the Patriots, you're putting him up there, and you can still put him up there stat wise. But if he won that ring in the Super Bowl, you possibly putting him up there with some of the greats. I mean, it's a lock at that point. And if you go back to 2012, was it 2012 when we lost that the NFC Championship game after being up 17-0? If we beat the 49ers, we were favored to beat Joe Flacco in the Super Bowl in the Ravens, and that would have been two rings. Now you really could put him up there in with the greats. That's how good this guy is. And for That's the part that's the part that bothers me more than anything. It's not the fact that the restart or what. Oh, wait a minute.
Tough to get everybody in one place, but
here we go.
Can
y'all hear?
Your patience and appreciate you taking the time today to be with us. So I'll touch on a few things. Author will touch on a few things, and from there we'll open up to questions. The first thing we want to talk about is and I know we all have individual statements on Matt, but just want to be very clear that, man, we're so appreciative of the time we're able to spend with Matt. And he's just I know it was just a year with me and Author, but he is just the consummate pro, the ultimate teammate, ultimate professional. He embodies all the traits and characteristics that you want in a football player. And we appreciate him, appreciate his family, and his professionalism and understanding.
Let me know if y'all can hear this.
Process just means so much to us. He's a special man, and we're rooting for him and his continued success. We talk about every scenario and every possibility, and we're always looking at long-term future. And so we have to do that. So through the entire all season, we had discussions on when the right time was to trade Matt. And we talked about the possibility of it. And when we look at that, we want him to be involved in that. He has to be involved in it because he deserves that. He's earned the right to be involved in that. We would never trade him somewhere and he knows nothing about it, and we're just trying to maximize value, and we go through some strung out process and try to squeeze out every all the compensation that we can. We were never going to do that with Matt. He deserves the right. He's earned the right to be involved, and so he was. He was involved in this whole process. Author was great communicating with him on a daily basis, and we allowed him to communicate with the team. And it was more important for us to let Matt be involved in it and get Matt somewhere where he wanted to be, as opposed to just trying to maximize the value. But again, just so appreciative of him and who he is as a man. And that decision was us looking at the long term and trying to do what's right for him and doing what's right for this team. When you look at the impact that it'll have on us next year and the situation we're going to be in next year at this point. I'll get into the offseason a little bit and where we are. We obviously have a lot of work to do, and yet we're excited about some things that we have gotten accomplished. Our first step is always to work hard to re-sign our players. And so we're able to get some things done with getting an extension done with Jake Matthews. That means a lot to us. Getting Young Wei extended, also OZ, getting OZ under contract for this year. And then Zay, Kobe Gossett, Anthony Rush. I got a text about 10:45 last night that
right, Ghost Peppers, right.
We've re-signed Eric Harris, and another. We talk about bringing back our players, and there were some players that we weren't able to get contracts done with, and that we worked hard to and went through that process, and they had better opportunities elsewhere, and we wish them all the best. And we try to keep everyone that we can, but in some cases we're not able to do that. And then from players outside the building, we're excited about Marcus Mariota, and we're going to continue to add to that room. And whether we're talking about free agents, trades, the draft,
what?
We're going to continue to add to that room, and yet we're excited that Marcus is here.
You going to add to the quarterback room?
Carter.
Oh, okay.
We're excited about bringing him home from Georgia. Also, Casey
what y'all think that means? He said he's going to add to the quarterback room.
And they're really excited to be here and play for the Falcons. Damian Williams, Elijah Wilkinson, Tease Tabor, some other players that we've been able to sign. Our pro department is really working hard, and we appreciate them. Chris and Kirsten working hard on the contracts. We've got a lot of work to do in some particular areas. Obviously, receiver, there's some things that we need to get accomplished prior to the draft and with pro players, and we're going to work hard to continue to do that. But I really appreciate the work that has been put in up to this point. And then the college process, we're right in the middle of that right now. We're going to, as soon as we finish up here, we're going to get on a plane and go to Oxford and watch Ole Miss's pro day. We'll be in Cincinnati tomorrow. and our college scouts have just been hitting the ground.
All right, wait a minute.
And we'll
they're
be
going to
at
Ole
two
Miss
days of personal
and Cincinnati,
workouts
so they're going to
really for the
watch
rest
the
of this
quarterback
month.
at Ole Miss. I think he's still not injured,
April
and they're going to
4th,
see Desmond
and
Ritter.
we'll start going through that process. And we have 9 draft picks right now, and we have significant draft capital, and that's a big part of it. When you look at the cap space we're going to have next year, and look at the draft capital that we have, it's an exciting time when we're looking at the future, when we're looking towards the future. So we're going to work as hard as we can, and I know we have the staff here, everyone here in Flowery Branch is really putting in the work right now.
Yeah, just to echo what Terry just said right there. Obviously, I want to take a second here just to reiterate what we put out in our statement about Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan has been the consummate professional here. He means a lot to this franchise. He had 14 great years, and I'm very thankful for the year I got to spend with Matt. We obviously made this decision in the best interest of franchise going forward, and we feel really good. And as Matt probably reiterated yesterday, it was very amicable, and we feel like it was a win for both sides, for us in the long term and Matt right now. We've had some staff changes that I'm very excited about. Terry just hit on the free agent moves that we're also really excited about. We also understand there's going to be some questions about our quarterback process, and we respect that. We explored it, the options. We understand the seriousness of the situations and the concerns from our fan base. And with that, we'll open up the questions to answer to the best of our ability.
All right, we'll open up questions. Just a reminder, if you have a question, type in the chat. I have a question. We'll open up Michael Rothstein.
Yeah, hi guys. I want to start here. When it comes to the pursuit of Deshaun Watson, how much did you look into the 22 civil claims or civil cases that are currently pending against him?
Yeah, we had a process, and we looked into everything, and we determined from where we are and the information we had, we determined we want to explore it. And obviously we take the allegations very serious.
No, you don't.
And but we, based off the information we had, we wanted to explore it.
Following up on that, in what you were looking into with that, did you reach out to Tony Busby? Did you speak with any of the women? Did you read the complaints? And if not, why not?
Michael, we're not going to get into our process. We would in any potential trades with any players. We understand the seriousness of the questions you're asking, but we're also not going to comment on an ongoing civil case. So,
okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Josh Kendall.
Hey, Terry, this is for you. At what point did you decide?
Right, Knight. That's a lot. I agree.
Y'all were going to be part of the Deshaun Watson trade discussions.
Well, it was a collective decision, and we had ongoing discussions about it, and we made a collective decision to again explore it. And throughout that process, we were very transparent the entire time. Again, Arthur talked to Matt on a regular basis because we wanted to make sure that he was informed and he was aware, and so we wanted to handle that part the right way. But we together discussed it, and we made a collective decision to explore it.
So they've been wanting to get rid of Matt Ryan from the beginning.
For you, when you had that first conversation with Matt about the situation, did you feel like at that time that was going to be the end of the Falcons and Matt's relationship, regardless of how things worked out?
Josh, Matt and I have had several conversations. Obviously, there's been a lot of transition here from when Terry and I got here. Matt's understood that ultimately there was going to be a succession plan for us and where we're at with this franchise and where he's at in his career. So those conversations when we got here, and it's been the same thing at the end of the season. It's the same reason when I got up there in Indianapolis that I said what I said, because you just never know. You understand that circumstances change, things happen that sometimes are in your control, out of your control, and we've always evaluated this, as a possible answer to a long-term plan. So,
translation, they wanted to get Matt out. They wanted to get rid of Matt Ryan day one.
But there's only one way we know how to do business with our players, and that's direct and being honest and transparent. And so that's what the conversation I had with Matt started off. And then obviously every day the situation changed and I kept him up to date. We met twice in person. So he was aware every day. That doesn't mean, people can feel one way or the other, but
they wanted to get rid of Matt Ryan day one, and this man played an entire season.
Going to trigger that the succession plan you're going to trigger the succession plan right then, regardless of whether
this man played an entire season for us, knowing that they wanted to get rid of him.
Players, when you have trade discussions in today's society, we're not working at the NSA, so things you can understand when you start having any kind of trade discussions, they're going to get out, and so you have to have contingency plans. So we, from last year to this year, Terry and I are constantly in our staff talking through those things. It's a possibility when you quote unquote cross the Rubicon and you're having serious trade talks and exploring, if it gets out, whether, how serious we were or not, it doesn't matter. You have to have a plan. That, again, the player may have a say, especially somebody like Matt Ryan. And so we had a plan, and that's why we executed the way we did.
Yeah. And whether we began to explore Deshaun or not, we were discussing trading Matt. We were discussing that, just looking at all the options and what was best for this team.
He said it again.
That was already, we were already having those discussions.
He said it again. He said, no matter if it was Deshaun Watson or not, they was going to get rid of him day one. They just couldn't find anybody, to the point they got desperate and went after Deshaun Watson. And this is how everything folded.
Okay.
That man played the entire season knowing that these people didn't like him.
Touched on parts of this.
That's crazy.
This decision arrived to trade Matt Ryan, just systematically.
Well, when we look at where we are right now as a team, and we couldn't have kept Matt Ryan on the way the current contract was, in order to field a team. We're going to have to we didn't want to do anything with Matt Ryan's contract last year, but we were handcuffed. We had to in order to field a football team, and it would have been the same thing this year. So we had to do that. When we look at doing that, and then with that, the impact that has on us next year, then we're continuing to do the same thing. And then now we're in another situation next year where it's hard to sign and re-sign players. We hate losing our players. We hate it. We hate losing players. We hate not being able to sign players. And we still, again, our pro department has pounded the pavement, and we found some good players at good value. And we're excited about that. And that's our job. And we're not making excuses about it. But when we think about the future and, okay, do we want to be in this situation again next year? Or do we want to look at it and say, okay, let's really looking at the draft capital we have and the cap space that we now have. And I know you guys know the impact that it has trading Matt now and how significant it is. So we discussed that. It wasn't a foregone conclusion. We discussed everything. We discussed what we would do with his contract if we kept him here. And we have all those discussions because it's hard. It's hard to trade a player of his caliber and the type of person he is. It's very difficult to do, but we had all those discussions and we decided this was the right time to do it.
I don't have a problem with I'll talk about it in a second.
The compensation that you all received and the record, how you plan to proceed with the record dead salary cap hit that you're going to take this year.
The benefits, tell me again, you're asking about
the benefits of the compensation, the third round pick, because at some point, I guess the dead salary cap hit had to play in it also.
Yeah, we're taking it on the chin this year, but taking it on the chin this year, and now you look at where we are next year, it's significant. If we don't do that, and again, we could have restructured his contract or done something with his contract and kept him this year, and then we'd have still had, if we trade him after the season or if we keep him next year, then we're still in a really tough salary cap situation. So with this, we take it on the chin this year.
Yep.
And it's
Jermaine and Ghost, both of y'all are right. Exactly. I believe you're right, Jermaine, and
draft well,
the contract held him up. I believe that, Ghost.
Team on the field this year, even with that dead cap, and it's an obstacle, but we look at it as an opportunity, and that's our job. And we're not making excuses about it. But us deciding to take it on the chin right now will really, it makes a significant difference for us next year in the future. Did that answer the question, D-Led?
Yes, it did. Thank you very much,
Okay,
Terry.
thank you.
Mhm.
All right, what's the next question? Somebody say something. Nobody wants
Yeah,
to.
Terry, you
Okay.
hit on this a little bit earlier, but I wanted to kind of go into more detail. Many from the outside looking in did not understand why Matt was traded with a third-round pick as that compensation when a quarterback of his caliber is known in the past few years to draw more. Would you mind going into more detail as to kind of why that trade?
I can answer that because they went after Deshaun Watson and they blundered it. So they instead of getting a first round, they got a third round.
It's more important for us to do right by Matt than to try to maximize compensation. And when we look at it,
BS.
Yes, we probably could have opened it up and talked to every team and traded Matt somewhere that he didn't want to be and got more compensation.
Well, that's
Yes,
true. I can agree with that.
If we could have had a drawn out process and shopped him and gone through this and traded him somewhere he didn't want to be. But we talked about it. We said, if we're going to go down this road, we want to do right by Matt, and he has to be involved in it. And we have to allow, and when you do that, when we allow him to talk to the team and authors talking to him about a team he wants to go to, and we open that up, we let him talk to, we opened up a window and gave and allowed him to talk to their head coach and GM. And when you do that, Torrey, yes, you're not going to have very much leverage, just being completely honest, because we're allowing him to be part of that process.
That's true.
But we discussed that and we said, yes, the compensation isn't going to be as much if we go this route. But we thought it was more important to handle it that way with Matt. He's just done too much for this organization, done for us and for everything. We wanted to make sure we handle it the right way. And look, the way he treated us and the way he handled everything, it was more important for us to worry to make sure we did right by Matt, as opposed to just doing our best to maximize compensation.
And also, Torrey, too, you got to look at 23 and the fit, where we're at, and not every team's in the market for a veteran quarterback, and understand where Matt was with his contract, where he fit, where we're at, where Indianapolis is at. So we thought it was a win-win because it opens up a lot of space in 23, so we don't have to keep playing this game of restructure, minimum deals. And so that was part of the thought as well. That's part of the compensation, is what it opens up in the future for us.
As far as the Colts and the money, I understand
Arthur,
that.
this one's for you. Just kind of looking ahead and also looking back, can you kind of speak to your history with Marcus and what that time was with him and what you learned about him when you both were at Tennessee together?
Yeah, so obviously Marcus and I were together the entire time. Was in Tennessee through a few different scheme changes, staff changes. Obviously, I was a coordinator the last year when Marcus was there, and a lot of lessons learned. And Marcus had some terrific runs with us in Tennessee. He obviously was a starter who won a playoff game with us in 2017 season. And he's at a different point in his career where he was at then. I'm at a different point in my career, and a lot of lessons learned, and we're excited to work together again. He's an exciting player, he's a smart football player, and like I said, we're excited. He's excited about the opportunity to get to Atlanta to prove himself.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Allison?
I was just wondering, was there a point during last season that you felt like you were going to need to trade Matt Ryan, or was it all in the offseason that came about? And also, when you keep talking about the future, kind of what does that future look like? Are you talking about
they answered that earlier? They wanted to get rid of Matt day one.
There's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to, is this a rebuild year for the Falcons?
They already answered that. They wanted to get rid of Matt day one.
Tag. I mean, it's a competitive league. Like, we understand our charge is a win. We felt where we were last year. We come in year one. It's a completely different culture. A lot of obstacles we had to work through, and we feel like we made pretty good progress. But where we're at, our charge is to win a championship, and that's where certain players at different points in their career, and we don't want to be stuck in this limbo. So yeah, you do have to make some moves sometimes. For you're going to take it like Terry said, you take it on the chin a little bit with that money. Doesn't mean we don't feel it like all of a sudden, like, that's why I don't like the rebuild. It's a competitive league. our charge as a coach, we're going to go out there and compete and to play better team football than we played last year and to improve. I mean, there's a lot of things as we're also going to compete now and building for the future. Just the opportunity to open up where it gives you some more cap room. We like where we're at with our draft picks and the number of picks we have. You know, you don't need 15 picks in a draft either. You know, you're not, all those guys aren't going to make your team. So I feel good where we're at. But our charge is not to be stuck in this kind of limbo area. We're going to build this thing the right way, and we're going to be competitive this year. That's our charge as a team and a coach. Nobody's sitting there saying rebuild. You know, I understand the question. Just understand the reality that we're trying to. You have to do both. We're going to put a competitive team. We like our young players. We need to develop. We like our free agency signings, and our charge in. We got to do well. We'll continue to add guys. Need to have a good draft, and understand we'll open up a lot of space. So we are players in free agency and can sign our own. That's a big part of free agency. We got to a certain price point with a couple of guys where we financially just couldn't do it.
I can respect that side of that answer because that's the type of coach you want. All this other stuff aside, I do like that answer.
Point where you actually thought the Deshaun Watson deal was done, where he was coming, and then the follow-up, I'll ask it now. At what point did you guys either have an opportunity to match, or was there a walk away before that ever happened?
No, I would say there wasn't. We just went through the process. We basically what they do is they give us a window. We had to talk to the Texans on the front end, and they gave us a window to have a meeting with him, and we're able to have that meeting. And outside of that, we weren't able to communicate about Deshaun. So once you have that meeting, then you step away. And look, again, we were exploring this. So that meeting was a part of the process. If we would have taken that next step, we're continuing to explore. So no, I think there was never a time where we felt that we were going to have that player here. Again, we're just exploring it, very aware of everything involved in it, and making sure we have sensitivity to that. But we were exploring it.
So you were never given an opportunity by his agent to say, match this and he comes, do this and he comes?
No, I'm not. We're not going to get into all the details of that part of it. But like I said, we were allowed a window to have a meeting with the player, and from there, we just had to wait from their end.
Mark Ridley.
Yeah. Hey, excuse me. This is for Mr. Fontenot. Coach Smith just said that you're not going to use the word. You're not going to say rebuild going into this year. Why can you not say that word? I mean, we've seen in this town, we've seen the Braves rebuild and we've seen the Hawks rebuild. Is there something about the NFL that just makes you unwilling to just use that word and I realize it's often an excuse for fans not to buy tickets, but is that it?
Good question.
No, Mark, and I don't want to cut Terry off here. The way you're looking at it is like our charge is to win. I mean, we're coaching. It's not fair to the players. Like you just put that on there. Like I don't know what coach is going to coach a team and say, "Hey guys, we're rebuilding." I understand where we're at. We're in a transition, and there is certain elements you're constantly rebuilding in the NFL. Your roster changes year to year so much. It's more of a team philosophy, and the players that we have here that compete every day, and the coaches. So I understand what you're talking about, big picture, and I'm not dismissing that. I'm just talking about your charge when you're in the National Football League. Our objective is to win football games, and we understand there's other things going on around it and long-term strategy. So that I'm sorry to cut you off, Terry, but I want to clarify, Mark, what I was talking about.
Yeah, I'm with you, Art, and Mark. I definitely understand we definitely understand the question, and it's a good point. And yet, the reason we hate the word rebuild is because when we're talking to Casey Hayward, and he's excited about coming home and competing right now. He's a real talented player that has done some really good things in this league. He's not coming somewhere to lose, and he's not. Or again, Lorenzo, guys outside the building. When Youngway extends, or when Jake extends, and these guys are excited about going out there and compete. And it's a challenge with all the dead money this year. It's a challenge, but taking it all on this year, we're excited about what we're going to do this year because we're going to do the best we can, and we're going to go out and compete. And then next year, it's significant when you look at where we are. And again, I know you guys have all looked at it and the significant impact this will make on us next year. But we would never say that because it's just not fair. It's not fair to the players here. We've got 17 games next year, and we're going to go out and compete in every single one of them. So that's why we definitely understand what you're saying and the point you're making, Mark, in it. But that's why rebuild is not something that we ever want to say.
Yeah, okay. That question and answer was fair. I can get on board with that answer and question because that was fair on both ends.
I mean, it feels like it was 4 years ago with Calvin Ridley at this point with everything that's gone on. But what is Calvin Ridley, if he is ever brought back from suspension, what is his future with the Falcons? Could he return to Atlanta, or is that no longer an option in your eyes after his suspension?
Good question. Another good question.
Yeah, that was obviously we were very transparent with everything throughout the season. With the way everything played out, we did our best to be supportive of him and his family, and then we get into the off season, and it was a surprise to all of us when we on February 9th got the call from the league and told us that there was an investigation, and we were talking to other teams and having some discussions, and yet we got that call and had to take a step back. So right now with Calvin, we
they tried to trade Calvin prior to the investigation that they knew about it. Before they knew about the investigation, they tried to trade him before then.
And do the best that we can. And how the future looks, Mike, we don't know. It's a long time from now, and so we'll see what happens with that. But we've been transparent. Really, all the information on Calvin that we've been transparent with everything with him, and we'll see where that goes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Josh Kendall, follow-up.
Yep, trade to Philly. Yep.
Yeah, Terry, I guess these are for you, but unless Art has, wants to interject. 2 points of quick fact checks. Did Matt have a no trade ability in this process?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. But again,
I know you wanted to do right by him. I just wanted to.
Right.
I had seen reported that he had the ability to veto.
No, he doesn't have a no trade clause.
Secondly, just to make sure I'm clear on this point, when Deshaun Watson went to Cleveland, did you at that point want to keep Matt, or did at that point the decision had already been made by you or Matt that you were going to have to do something else?
No, it was still a discussion, and at that point, we talked about and we told him we were going to allow him to talk to the team, and we go from there.
Yeah, like I said, they wanted to trade him from day one.
At all the different possibilities and all the different scenarios.
So it wasn't because of
with Matt.
It wasn't because of Deshaun Watson. They wanted to trade him day one. They said that earlier.
It was important for us to make him a part of it.
And then on a different track, how does what's happened in the last week affect the likelihood that you're going to take a quarterback in this coming draft?
Oh, that's a good question.
Does it increase in your mind the urgency to do that now, or do you still think this is a longer term process?
Well, no, it doesn't. It depends. If we feel great about a quarterback at whatever pick, then we're going to take a quarterback. And if we don't, we're not going to reach and do something that we're not excited about. Obviously, we're very excited that we took Kyle Pitts at 4, and he's going to be significant for this organization, for this franchise for a long time. So we're going to make a decision at each pick, and we're never going to feel pressure to reach for a quarterback. Now, we're going to add to the position, whether it's in the draft, Josh. We'll see where that is. It could be in the draft. It could also be in free agency, and it can also be via trade. We're going to add to the position. And obviously, Monday, we're at Pitt. We're at Liberty yesterday. We'll be in Oxford today, and we'll be at Cincinnati Thursday. And so clearly we're going to see all these quarterbacks, and it's an exciting class. They're different flavors, and but we're going to dig into this class.
That's code word for they're probably taking a quarterback at 8. Quarterback at 8. That's code word that they're taking a quarterback at 8, in my opinion.
Take the best players.
I think they're taking a quarterback. You don't travel all over to those
position,
quarterbacks
whether it's in
to
the
not
draft
take
or,
a quarterback at 8.
with another
I'll be
avenue.
highly surprised if they don't at this point.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good follow-up?
You going to Pitt? You going to Oxford?
No, I went to
You going to
trial.
Liberty?
I was on the draft class, and Terry just covered it, the draft class at quarterback. So thank you.
Chris Domino, your
You
follow-up?
traveling across the country and you don't think they may not take a quarterback at 8? I think they're looking at quarterback more than any other position.
We talk a lot about quarterback fit with the head coach and the guy who's actually calling the offense. Is
Right.
that still a thing when you're going to go to these 4 schools, or is it just about the talent of the player and
Yep.
sort of it's not square peg round hole anymore? It's just finding the most talented player and then doing what he can do best as opposed to the other way around.
Well, that's part of coaching. I mean, I don't have that fixed mindset. It's just got to be the right guy in the way you want to build this team. There's obviously you can study the last 40 years of team building and when you've added quarterbacks and when you haven't. We feel like we need to make sure if whoever the guy is, that there's enough around him to be successful. And so you're weighing every cost. I mean, you go to last year's draft, in terms of team building, and we decided because Kyle Pitts we felt was the best long-term fit for us. We continue. It'll be the same thing this year. And the original question, I don't have that. I mean, there's a lot of things that need to fit, but we'll adapt to player strengths. That's always been my charge. It's what we tried to do last year with Cordell Patterson, and we're really excited it's back. Same thing we've done throughout in my coaching career. It's not, hey, this is my system and this guy must fit my system. I've never thought that way.
And Terry, can I just ask, how far ahead does a general manager, people already start to talk about next year's quarterbacks in college? Is that even a thing as well anymore, or can you not afford to play that game?
No, we do have to. That's a great question. And we do have to look at that. And we have to look at what's, again, you don't want to feel pressured to do something, but you have to look, not just for myself, but it's funny when you're watching tape on players, me and Arthur were talking about some underclassmen the other day, because when you're watching tape on other players, you see those guys. And that's important to not just look at this year, but to look at next year and think big picture, so that's a great question. And we do, as a GM and as a head coach, we definitely look into the future and what's coming in the next draft classes.
Yeah, you got to do
great
that.
scouting staff too, Chris. I mean, that's
Yep.
a charge. By the time we're having conversations here on the 22 draft, a lot of our scouts they've been studying these guys for years.
Yep.
I mean, it's technically write reports, but unless you got your head in the sand, I mean, they're constantly, they know what's going on in the college game.
Yeah, great point. And
you got to be looking like at least you got to look at least 2 years ahead at some of these players, not just at quarterback, but all these players.
Once they're in their freshman year, because that player, you're going to be talking about them in a couple seasons, so they know who's there and they know those teams top to bottom, and they bring up those players to us. So yeah, it's a great question, and because of the staff we have, we're always aware of not just this year but next year.
Is it one of the reasons you accumulate draft capital in case you do like somebody and have to make a move up the following season?
That's an obvious question.
Certainly take that into
I mean, that's obvious.
Because, we certainly want to have picks.
You know the answer to that.
Depending on
Of
the
course you
situation
do
we're
that.
in. I mean, where we're at right now, the other narrative about, play the comp game. We've got to fill out a roster. So a lot of these guys that we've added, like Lorenzo Carter, is going to be a good, where he's at age-wise and career as we keep building this. I mean, there is some strategy there. I mean, we have to field a team, and I understand that question about the comp game as well. But we feel good about where we're at. We feel good about the opportunities in front of us too.
Thank you.
Michael, you got another follow-up?
Yeah, I have 2 actually. First, for Arthur, when it comes to Marcus, when you were working with him, he did get benched for Ryan Tannehill. Why do you feel like this time it might be different in terms of how things go with Marcus and how he plays?
Oh, there's been a lot of growth from him and myself. I mean, ironically, they're completely different players, but Ryan Tannehill was in this situation when we got Ryan. So Marcus is a high-end talent, just like Ryan was. I mean, he was a first-round pick, and he's a different spot in his career. And I trust Marcus, and Marcus, he's going to come in here and he's going to give us everything he's got. And he's got a high-end talent, and he understands what's happened in the past. He's learned from him. I've learned from him, and we feel excited about the opportunity.
And this, going back to the Deshaun stuff again, because you guys have both said exploring a couple of times. And if Deshaun Watson had said, yes, I want to come to Atlanta, would that have then happened? Or would then at that point you had to do more research and more digging? I'm just trying to understand.
That's a good question.
And just one other follow-up on that as well is you've talked about Matt Ryan's contract hamstringing you. How would Deshaun Watson's contract theoretically not hamstrung you where Matt Ryan's did?
Excellent question.
A little bit, it's hypothetical. Now we're focusing a lot. I understand and we respect the question, but you're talking.
No, answer that.
Here. It's a completely different situation. So we, like I said, we did explore it, but now you're talking about things that happened in other spots that
bro,
wouldn't have been the same. So
duck that.
These hypotheticals, and we can go down that road. And I understand why you're asking and doing.
You was doing good. Y'all were doing good for the last 10, 15 minutes. You ducked that. That's a legit question.
It was when we say explore. Okay, we're gonna take this next step in exploration. So this is the step, right? Now, and there was such a layered process. So now, all of a sudden, like you're saying, if he would have chose us, okay, now we negotiate with the Texans and we do more exploring. Mike, it's a great question because it was a process.
Nah, he talking about that contract y'all that gave Deshaun. How y'all gonna say Matt was not?
There were so many layers to it.
Was contract laced, and then you had to pay Deshaun all that money. That's a legit question.
Layers to it, and like Arthur says, yes, it was still going to be a big contract, not the same contract if we were taking on his as we take on his current contract, but that's
another good question, Ghost.
Player.
Honestly, that's a good question.
Thinking long term with even pursuing him, but again, it was exploration, and there were so many layers that we were going to have to get through.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We got time for one more. Cody.
Guys, I got to imagine when you're filling out the practice squad, the owner's not involved, but how much was Arthur Blank involved with the starting quarterback stuff, whether it's pursuing Deshaun or trading Matt? And is he coming in as a leader, or are you just calling him at the end of the day saying, here's what we did?
Cody, the other thing too, we have a very collaborative organization. I know those are the ones that everybody wants that story, whether it was this person's idea or this person's charge. We have so many conversations about multiple things, and Mr. Blank is phenomenal to work for, and anybody that's ever worked for him understands that there's constantly, as we communicate throughout the entire season, questions. He's terrific to work for in that regard. But I know the story that everybody wants is that we have a very collaborative team, from the personnel, the coaching, conversation that Terry and I have with Rich McKay all the time. So it's a collaborative effort here, and that's probably the best way to put it for you, Cody.
Yeah, he's so supportive, and he's so passionate, and he wants to win in the worst way, and yet he always empowers us. And so we have discussions about everything, and he cares about everything. It's normal to get a text at 11 o'clock at night and we start talking about something, but it always comes from a place of support. And so we discuss things, but he always says, you guys are going to make the decisions, and he's great about it. I mean, we were having dinner.
Bubba Gump, they dodged that. They dodged that question. If you noticed that, that guy asked that question,
and they were at Disney,
and they dodged that. They dodged that question
in a few weeks, and we all are. I'm not making excuses. Everybody works hard, but I was going to meet my family in Orlando, and I couldn't. And so he said, and he felt so bad, he wanted me to go, and he said, okay, well, make sure I send your family to Orlando down the road. But that's the kind of person he is. He really cares about us. He gives us all the support that we need. He is passionate, and he's in every discussion, but it's from a place of support.
Overall, I agree with you, Samuel Davis. They did a good job of spinning
like
this.
He's
they did.
Supportive. We couldn't be more appreciative of Arthur.
All right. Appreciate
yeah, Watson is a top 5 quarterback, but you can't sit here and tell me that. Okay, that's it. Okay. All right, so that's the end of that. Let me see. Let me drop this as well. All right, so what y'all think? Y'all give me your thoughts. What y'all think about this press conference? What are y'all takeaways from it? I think it was a lot of good information. We did learn some things. We learned that they did not want Matt Ryan from day one. You know, we learned that they did not want Matt Ryan from day one. They wanted to get rid of him from the jump. And they did everything they could to try to get him off the team, but the money was an issue. So when the next season comes, they still was trying to get rid of him. They didn't want to restructure. They didn't want to do anything. They went after Deshaun Watson, or Deshaun Watson called them. I don't know. They didn't say which one happened. You know, so apparently they tried to get rid of him beforehand. And after the Deshaun Watson situation dropped, the best situation for Matt Ryan was for him to go to the Colts. Because just like King T'Challa said, that probably was the only place that wanted to take him at this point. I think they kind of backed themselves into a corner as far as draft capital. I think they probably they put themselves in a corner based on draft capital. But I think at the end of the day, they did right by Matt Ryan. They did right by him. I will admit that. I think they did right by him by letting him go where he wanted to go. But they kind of shot themselves in the foot with that situation. Now, going forward, I think they did some good things. You know, they answered some good questions. There were some good questions. It's not like one of those situations where the media was going after Terry and Arthur. Because these other press conferences, the media would go after them. Now it was more of a situation where they was asking legit questions about what the team is going to do now, what they're going to do. They wanted to take, Prescott Falcons said they wanted to take the handcuffs off. If San Francisco didn't jump us last year, Trey Lance would have been there and Ryan would have been moved anyway. That's a good question because they did want Trey Lance. I did hear that. That is true. Suki Knight said they better get their next franchise quarterback next 2 or 3 years. I agree. I'm going to get to that in a second. That no one on our previous roster didn't want to play for both Terry and Arthur. I think it was both ways as well. I don't think nobody on the previous roster wanted to play for them, and I don't think they wanted anybody from the old roster either. I'm surprised Grady is still around, to be honest. And I think Deion Jones was still around because Deion Jones is younger. Bruce Wayne says, Watson was a better choice. He young. It was hard to move Ryan, who wants that contract. Yeah, that's true, but Watson's going to want a lot of money as well. So money-wise, that was a good question for them to ask. Like, how are you going to say Matt Ryan was a problem money-wise, contract-wise, but you're going to turn around and give Deshaun Watson the same type of money or more? So, that's a legit question. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. What else I wanted to say? The whole situation about getting a franchise quarterback. Yeah, I understand. Grady and Jones are on top of the game. Jones is younger. Grady has a lot of money on the books, though. The only reason why I say Grady because he's a part of the old guard. You know? Grady was just as important to the team as Matt and Julio, honestly. So I think Grady still wants to be here though, at the end of the day. So I think that does play a role. Yusuk said they better get the next franchise quarterback in the next 2 to 3 years. I think they're going to try to get a quarterback this season. You don't go to Ole Miss to see Matt Corral. You don't go to Pitt to go see Kenny Pickett. You don't go to Cincinnati to go see Ritter. You don't go to Liberty to go see Malik Willis. I don't think they played their hand, but this is a serious scenario that they're going after a quarterback. All right, I'm going to be ignorant right now. Cause I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be ignorant. I did not know this. Y'all just going to have to roast me right now. I did not know Grady was from Atlanta. Honestly, I did not know that. I never really looked into his past or whatever. Anyway, I just know that he was a 5th round pick from Clemson. I didn't know, but that's another story for another day, because all these Atlanta players end up going to Clemson and Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia can't keep none of their players. But that's another story for another day. There's another reason why I don't care for the Georgia Bulldogs, but we're not going to talk about that. Yeah, I did not know he's from Atlanta. Honestly, I did not know that. Anyway, but you don't go to all of these schools. You don't go to all of these schools and say you're not going to try to get a quarterback, because all of these quarterbacks are going to be probably a couple of these quarterbacks may still be around in the 2nd round. You know what I'm saying? That may be the case. That one of these quarterbacks may be around the 2nd, but I don't. His dad is Jesse Tuggle. Man, cut it out, man. I don't want to hear that. Hey, y'all, you got to show me some receipts on that. I don't believe that. No, I don't believe that. You got to show me some receipts. Never mind. But really, because I know of Jesse Tuggle Jr. that played at Kansas State. I do know that. Wow, I did not know that. I'm dead serious. I'm learning something new today. Hey, man, y'all guys are awesome. I'm dead serious. I did not know that. Yes, this is a weak quarterback class, King. I agree, King. This is a weak quarterback class, but they're clearly going after a quarterback. They're going at you don't take all these trips and say that you're not. Yeah, I know. I did not know that, because I know Jesse Tuggle's son played at. I know his son played at Kansas State, and he actually has Jesse Tuggle's name. Went to high school grip. Okay. I learned something new today. I did not know that. Thank you. I'm dead serious. I'm gonna be honest. I never really. I never looked into Grady Jarrett's past. Honestly, I did not. I never looked into it like that, because I never did. But yeah, I just don't understand that, even though that I'm not a fan of this quarterback class. I'm not. The only way I see them taking somebody early in the top 2 rounds is that they really want the guy, they really like him. And if they have to sit behind Mariota for a year, I'm okay with that. Who would you pick at number 8 QB wise? I'll pick Malik Willis. If I had to pick a quarterback at number 8, it would be Malik Willis. Seriously, I think Malik Willis is the best quarterback out of everybody that I've seen. Now, I do like Ridley from Cincinnati. I do like him. But I do like him, but I think Willis is the guy at number 8, honestly. But man, I think that I think they're probably going quarterback. Everybody talk about pass rush. And me personally, I like Ahmed Gardner, the cornerback from I like him from Cincinnati as well. But after getting Casey Hayward, I don't think they're going to I don't think they're going cornerback at all this draft period. Yeah, Norman, get Malik at 8 and get a receiver and the rest on defense. I'm okay with that. If Malik is there, he's getting yeah, he is, but let's think about it like real quick. What team really would get him? Maybe the Panthers at number 6? Because I honestly don't see any other quarterback that's I don't see any other team that wants a quarterback right now. I think the Panthers at 6 is the only place for him. Jacksonville got, they got their quarterback. The Lions got Jared Goff. Jared Goff. Who's that? Let me see. Who's number 3? Let me see. Let me look. All right, so you got the Jaguars, Detroit Lions, Houston Texans. Houston is all in on Davis Mills. They like Davis Mills. The Jets got the boy Wilson from BYU. The Giants have Daniel Jones. They got 2 picks in the top 7. The Giants got 2 picks in. Wow, they got 2 picks in the top 7. you also, and then you got Carolina, then the Giants coming right back at number 7, and that's where we come in. So you got Jacksonville, Detroit, Texans, Jets, Giants, Panthers, Giants again, then the Falcons. I don't see nobody but the Panthers are the only one. The Texans maybe, but I only see nobody but the Panthers probably going quarterback. Cause they don't like Baker Mayfield. How you doing, Miss Maggie? How you doing? So yeah, I can see it happening. The way that they were talking in that the way they were talking in that press conference, I would not be surprised that they're going to go. I wouldn't be surprised they're going to try to go quarterback at number 8. And I like I said, I think Willis is the guy. In my opinion, if it was me, I would go after Willis if I was Atlanta, and let him sit. If they're really going to go at the quarterback, I don't think Houston is a good look for a quarterback. I think they could, but at the same time they said they like Davis Mills. They say they got, and now let's say if they do go with Malik at number 3, who's the next quarterback that's there that the Falcons will pick up? They brought in Lorenzo Carter on a 1-year deal. I don't think they're going. I agree. I agreed. I agree, but I feel you, Prestart. Edge rusher that's an ideal pick, but if you pick up Lorenzo Carter, they're going to believe in him for 1 year, and you're going to probably put Ogundeji on the other side or something like that. But the way they were talking, it sounded like they want a quarterback. And I don't know if they'll get one at number 8, because if Willis is gone, like, do they wait till the second round? You got Pickett, he may be gone. Ritter may be gone. Because you got to also understand. I'm looking at this draft. Let me see if I can pull this up. Let me pull this up. So we're gonna talk about this. Hold on. Let me see if I can put this up. Because I want y'all to see this as well. Hold on. Let me see. Y'all give me 1 second. Let me put this up so y'all can see this. All right, so this is what we're looking at. Jacksonville, Detroit, Houston, Jets, Giants, Panthers. You got New York again with the 7th pick as well. They got 2 picks in the top 7. Now, y'all say Texans. Look at this. At number 13, they got another pick at 13. They don't necessarily have to go quarterback at 3. So y'all say Houston, they may wait if they go. You see what I'm saying? Seahawks got Russell Wilson. The Jets got a number. Look at this. The Jets got 2 picks in the top 10. The Giants got 2 picks in the top 7. That's crazy. So Seattle, maybe. I don't know. I think they like Drew Lock. Washington got Wentz. Vikings got what's that boy name that used to play for Washington? Then you got Houston again. Baltimore's not getting a quarterback. Philadelphia's not getting a quarterback. So you look right here. It could be. It could be a situation where we could get Willis. I don't know. Strong in the 3rd or 4th. Yeah. I don't know. From what I see, it look like it could be a possibility, because you look at the draft order right here. The only team that I see this is the team right here I'm worried about. That's the team right there I'm worried about. The Panthers probably getting Willis at 6. I don't see any of these other teams right now. Panthers, unless they believe in Sam Darnold, which I don't think they do. Well, I don't think Willis is regarded the best quarterback this class by scouts. I don't think he is either. A lot of people don't think it is. All I heard during the press conference is some QB is excited to work with Mariota, So I like Willis than Ritter. Yeah, I'm with that. I'm with that as well. Willis than Ritter. If you don't get Willis at number 8, you're right here at round 2 at 43. Will he be around? Will he be around? I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he will be. So, I don't know, man. What you guys think? I think right now, overall, from what I'm taking from this, the Falcons wanted to get rid of Matt Ryan from day one. They like the fact they wanted to get rid of him from day one. They're still trying to win games with what they have. They like Mariota for some reason, but they still want to get a quarterback. They still want to get a quarterback because they're going to all these stores. Well, they're going to all these schools. They're going to all these schools to look at these quarterbacks. So it looks like they may be going at number 8. There were some things that was answered. They saved a lot. They saved a lot of PR with this press conference. I think overall, they did okay. It did kind of shock me that they wanted to get rid of Matt Ryan day one. And let's go back to that. What did that tell you about Matt Ryan? Matt Ryan knew that these guys wanted to get rid of him, and he still played with the cards that he was dealt with. Not having a number 1 receiver, having mid-level to below-level receivers. He played his ass off, even though knowing that these guys did not want. You talk about a professional. You talk about a professional that played this game knowing what was in front of him. Knowing that these guys did not want him. And he still went 26-11. He still put up decent, okay numbers. If any other quarterback was like this, they would have probably tried to sit out. They probably would have tried to make a mess out of this. It could have been on top of the Calvin Ridley stuff. This could have been a disaster. Once again. Oh, he had a choice. He had a choice. King, don't get it twisted. In today's NFL, these players have a choice. They have a choice. 20-12. I don't know why I keep saying 26-11. Anyway, he had a choice. Don't get it twisted. If these players don't want to play, they won't play. We just had a wide receiver that did that. That did not want to play. Yeah, I'm with you, Miss Maggie. It was the contract, but at the same time, the way it was handled by Matt Ryan is probably one of the most classiest things that you will see in the NFL today. Hell, to be honest with you, I can't even remember a time where any other player did that. Now back, let's say maybe 5-7 years ago, social media wasn't popping like it was, so you probably didn't know about players the way they were. And how they were feeling at the time. So there probably been other instances we just don't know about. But when you look at the way social media is now, and everybody's in the know, and everybody has access, to way that everything is transpired with pretty much without, incident, without stuff going on in the, behind the scenes that's coming out to the forefront. Matt did a pretty good job of being quiet. Because this could have been ugly. Just flip it to see how things happen with Julio. He went on TV and tell everybody he's out. Calvin really said a lot by saying nothing. Look at Kyler Murray. Look at what Kyler Murray did just to get attention. So when players want out, or when they feel like they're being disrespected, they act out in certain ways. Matt did nothing but play football. I give him credit for that. Matt better play well next year. Indy will get rid of him. That's a fact. Patchwork O-line, no run game. Yeah. He did not have an offensive line. We need an offensive line. And then you look at the Colts. They have a damn good offensive line. So I think Matt is going to do really well in Indianapolis, and I really don't want to talk about it. To be honest, I don't want to go too far with that, but I think Matt is going to do very well. I think that Matt's going to be really well with the offensive line and that talent. He can hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor like it's nothing, and Jonathan Taylor is highly productive. Matt got paid too much to sit out. Man, listen. When a player want to sit out, they're going to sit out. If a player don't want to play, they're not going to play. That's just point blank. I mean, I get what you're saying. Matt got paid too much to ride the bench for another quarterback. But if a player don't want to play, they're not going to play. This is some, Bruce Wayne said, this is some bull. We should have traded Matt 3 years ago. I mean, Green Bay ran off 5. We holding on to Matt with no championship. Yeah. I think you should have tried this one more year after the Super Bowl, and if it didn't work, you should have got rid of him. I can agree with that, because as well as Matt played, you have to look at it from a standpoint like Arthur and Terry Fontenot is looking at it right now. You would have been going through a cycle of trying to restructure and trying to get cap space. You had to let him go. So I do agree with that. You know, so I'm with you on that. But I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens from here on out, because now you kind of got a vision of what the Falcons are going to do. Now you have a vision to see what the front office wants to do. I think there's like a 75 to 80% chance they want a quarterback in the draft. By the way they were talking, I think they probably want to go quarterback. And for all intents and purposes, I think all intents and purposes, I think they made some good moves in the offseason. I think they picked up some decent players that are quality and that can contribute. So they're like, they don't want to rebuild. They don't want to use the word rebuild. They still want to compete. And I think with some of the players they bought in and the players that they're trying to bring in, I think they are still trying to compete. Will they compete? I don't know. Like I said in my last episode of this show, we're going up against the AFC North and the NFC West. Both of those conferences are gauntlets. There's a really good chance that we could lose all 8 of those games. So we're already behind the 8 ball 0-8. We played Tom Brady twice and the Bucs twice, so we may win 1 of those games. So that's 9 losses. So you mean to tell me, jeez, that we're probably looking at 9 losses going into the season already. Because you look at our AFC North and the NFC West, what team are we beating? What team are we that we're winning against? Maybe the Steelers because of Mitch Trubisky. You look at the NFC West, maybe the Seahawks because of Drew Lock. So that's I don't know. I think our defense is nasty. Possibly top 10. Woo. Man, I don't know what to say about that one. I'm looking at AJ Terrell. I'm looking at Grady. I'm looking at Deion Jones. You got Casey Hayward. Eric Harris is back. Richie Grant has to step up. Lorenzo Carter. I'll say top 20. I'm not gonna say top 10. I'll say top 20. I even hedge my bet a little bit and say maybe top 15. Maybe, and that's a stretch. Speaking of dead money, bubble gum, we got what, 62 million in dead cap? That's going to flip to over $100 million in free cap next in 2023. I didn't even speak on Michael Walker. You're right. You're right. Michael Walker's another guy. Yeah. Okay, top 15. I'm not gonna say top. I'm not gonna say possibly top 10 is a stretch. If we have a top 10 defense, we're probably going to the playoff. I'll say. Don't even. No. You can say Isaiah Oliver, but I don't believe in Kendall Sheffield anymore. I don't. Nevertheless, if we have a top 10 defense, we won't lose 8 games we'll win more games against the NFC West and the AFC North. So if we have a top 10 defense, I think we're good enough to have a top 20. I don't think we're going to be at the bottom. Norman Fitzgerald says, I honestly think that we have a top 3 pick next year. With that top 3 pick, we'll get Anderson from Alabama to shore up that defensive line. I'm sure the offensive line will build around Willis through free agency. Next year, we'll have 136 million in cap space. Man, we can get anybody we want, right? And we got 9 draft picks. Yeah, I'm going to say this. I don't have a problem with the draft and the draft picks. I firmly believe that Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith can draft well. I don't have a problem with the draft last year. I think we got some decent players in the draft. I think Jalen Mayfield actually turned out to be just as good as we thought he was going to be. He started out very rough, but we got him in 3rd round. He had a rough 4 or 5 games, but he came on. He did fairly well at the end of the season. He had a lot of growing pains. So I think Jalen Mayfield is going to be okay in year 2 and beyond. Taquan Graham and Ogundeji didn't play enough. I wish they did play more. Richie Grant still got a little bit more to learn. Kyle Pitts is everything that we asked him to be. Top 5 pick. He produced. He got over 1,000 yards. He did good. I think we got Dahlman. I didn't see much of Dahlman. Who else did we pick up? Those are the ones I really remember. Frank Darby. Frank Darby's low-key disappointment. I would like to see him do better. I would like to see them do better. I like to see Frank Darby step up and do something. But I think the draft-wise, I don't think we have a problem with the draft class that we had last year. And I think they're just we got 9 picks. I think we're going to be fine with whoever they pick. My thing is, are they really going to go with the quarterback at number 8? Because the way it sounds like that's what they're doing. I think we should try to get another running back. We need a pass rush. We need some receivers. Frank Darby definitely have to get some targets. I need to see. I think Frank Darby can be a really good receiver, but your best ability is availability, and he hasn't been available. So they're going to have to do something with him, put him on the field or something. But like I said, I don't have a problem with them drafting. Their scouting and the type of players they pick is, I'll give them at least a B minus for the draft picks. So I'm not worried about that. Those 9 picks, I'm glad that they got those 9 picks. I think they did a pretty good job, even though the Matt Ryan trade for a 3rd rounder is, man, I don't like that. That's just a bad look when you just speak on it. It just sounds bad. But you can get a good player. You can get a good player in the 3rd round. Marlon Davidson can play. Marlon Davidson can play. What about George Pickens, wide receiver UGA? I think he's going to be really good. I think he's going to be real good. And the thing about him is he didn't play as much this past season because of an injury. So he didn't have to play as much. He didn't have to play as much in college. So you basically got him at high talent, and he didn't play a whole year basically. He didn't play much this last season. He did have a great catch in the national championship game, but the fact that he didn't play as much, you're basically getting a high level. You're basically getting a high level receiver who didn't play a year, which is good for the tread on the tires on a player. That's kind of like the same thing with old boy from USC. He was out after playing 7 games. He had an ankle injury, a leg injury. And he's very talented as well. So you're basically getting a good player that didn't really play a whole year. So that's a plus. Ojabo, yeah. Let me tell you something. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody get him in the 3rd or 4th round, let him sit. Jamar Chase is a perfect example of that. Perfect example. And it means a lot when you have a lot of talent and don't play a year. Your body, is fresh. Like Bruce Wayne said, he's fresh. He's not coming off of a season to where he got beat up throughout the year. Ojabo, I wouldn't be surprised if Ojabo falls to the 3rd round and he sits after that Achilles, I think he had an Achilles tear, and come back later on in the year or next year and actually be a force. So you're probably getting an absolute steal in the 3rd round. Basically, you got somebody who's red shirt in a year. What's my opinion on James Houston from Jackson State? I don't have much of an opinion on him. I'll be honest, I don't. I know of him, but I don't have much of an opinion. So I can't give you nothing there. With one of those 9 picks, getting a Ojabo, in the situation that we in, that would be a very good move. Because at the same time, you're getting a high talent. He doesn't have to play. And then when you go into the following year with all this cap space that we're getting, he's just going to be an added piece. And the fact that we're getting him if we got him in the 3rd or 4th round, we're getting him for very cheap. We'll be getting him very cheap. Yeah, I don't have much. To be honest with you, I don't have much of an opinion on James. To be honest with you, I was not able to watch much of James Houston. I haven't had much to watch Jackson State, to be honest, because when it comes to college football, I mainly just watch Georgia Southern. Unless as far as that level of college football, I was focused on the Sun Belt and teams like Georgia Southern, Georgia State, Appalachian State. I didn't watch too much of Jackson State, so I don't know much of him. I didn't even read much on him. But yeah, you take Ojabo in the 3rd. What is it? Let me see. 3rd round, we got pick number 74 and number 82. This right here. You take him right here. You take him at number 82. Maybe 74. Depends on what these other teams may try to do to threaten to pick him up. You pick him up right there, you got to steal. What about running back? I did an episode on running backs. I can't remember what episode that was. But I did an episode on running backs. You take one in the 2nd round. You take one in I think you take one in the 2nd round. I think at this point, with one of these picks at 43 or 58, you take a running back. And I think you're going to get a quality running back at that point, because I don't think too many teams want a running back like that. I think the kid out of the kid out of Iowa State, He's gone. I like Hassan. I like Hassan from Michigan. I like him a lot. Him or James Cook is my guy. If you go running back, right here, James Cook right here at 58. I think James Cook is a perfect pick right here. And if you want to get savvy, you can go right here. You could get him right there as well. So either one. I think you go running back second round. Honestly, I think you get a running back in the second round. So I don't know. If y'all got anything else for me, I'm gonna go ahead and try to get up out of here. I got to make some more content because this episode is not going to be on the podcast avenue. I'm going to do a early third for a running back. Exactly, Bruce Wayne. That's what I say. If you want to be savvy, you go right here. At 74 in the third round, you get a running back. But yeah, I'm gonna do another episode for the podcast episode because I don't want to put this on iTunes and stuff. So I'll probably do another episode, probably addressing some other things Falcons wise. I may do a recap of this in a shorter form. So I'll probably do that. If y'all got any other questions or comments, please let me know. I'll respond to them for the next 5, maybe 10 minutes, and we'll get up out of it. Because it's almost been 2 hours. I didn't think that this was going to go that long. Yeah, Cook is not going to be in the late third round. See, we got the 82nd pick. I don't think he goes past this area right here. After 74, if we don't get him there, 82 is at 82 we pushing it. We're pushing it at 82. But after that, he's gone. I believe he's gone after that. Our next pick like that is 114. Any of these running backs that we were talking about, none of them are going to be here at round 4. None of them. Kenneth Walker's going to be gone. The kid from Texas A&M is gone. Like I said, the Iowa State kid, Bryce Hall, he's gone. Reddick is going to be gone. James Cook is going to be gone. They're going to be going by round 4. Right. It was a run on running backs in the third round. You're exactly right. What picks do we have in 2023? As of right now, we got all regular 7 picks. I don't think we got any trades. For a 2023 pick. Let me look. I don't think we got any trades for a 2023 pick. So we just got the basic 7 rounds right now. Let me see. James Williams, man, no problem, man. It's your first time here. Hey, man, welcome, bro. If this is your first time here, man, hit the like button, share, subscribe. I'm not only on YouTube, I'm on Rumble as well. This podcast I do every day at 9 a.m. is actually on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud. No, I'm not on SoundCloud anymore. Don't go to SoundCloud. iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and Anchor. So if you want to listen to the podcast on a daily basis on those avenues, you can. So I appreciate you coming through. I really appreciate it. Let me see. 2023 draft picks. I'm looking at it on my phone. Do they have anything extra for next year? Let's see. They're not showing me anything. They're just showing me a bunch of cap space. So as of right now, they don't know anything. So yeah. Like you said, press start Falcons said it was a run on running backs in third round. So you may want to go ahead. If you don't get them right here in the third round, they're gonna be gone. You're pushing it at 82. In fourth round, they're gone. So if it was me, I'll go ahead and get the running back that I want at the latest at 58. 74, you're pushing it. Yeah, as of right now, we only got the regular 7 picks based on what I see. Nothing extra that was traded to them or anything. I don't think they traded anybody for a 2023 pick. So we basically got the 7 picks. 2022 will be a fun year. Expect some setbacks. 2023, we take the league by storm, make a run in the Super Bowl with 1-3. Yeah, you know, this is the Cincinnati Bengals playbook. Everybody want to talk about Terry Fontenot and the Saints and what they did. No, this is the I want to say the Patrick Mahomes effect. I want to say the Lamar Jackson. But it looks more like the Cincinnati Bengals to me. It looks more like the Cincinnati Bengals. You get rid of all your cap space. You go and get a quarterback, or you build everything around and you get a quarterback. The only thing they really did was get him Jamar Chase because they were teammates in college. We have an extra 4th round pick in the 4th. Let me see. 114. It don't say here. Yeah, we got the 114 and all these compensation picks, unless they didn't update it yet. We're still moving Deion Jones when we move maybe this offseason. I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, I think that this is not, looking at everything that we've seen now, the whole Matt Ryan situation, which I still kind of feel some kind of way like that. Shaky offensive line and all. Right. I still think that 2023. Oh, you know what? You're right, James. You're right. We did get a 4th round pick in because we traded him for a 2nd and a 4th. But that 4th round pick is for 2023. You're absolutely right, James. You're right. I remember that. When I looked it up, I couldn't find it on Google. But you're right. Jordan Davis, the fact that Jordan Davis ran a really fast 40 for his size, Jordan Davis is not making it out the 1st round or early 2nd. I'm looking at the teams in the 1st round that could use him or want him. Dang, you put me on the spot. I don't know a team that will want him right away, but I don't see him. I don't see him getting past. The Falcons may have a shot at him at 43, but I don't think they want him. I don't think he make it past the early 2nd round. Not after running that 40 the way they did. You know, that type of stuff, these scouts like stuff like that. For some reason, the 40 is almost like the end-all be-all for a lot of players. For a lot of skill players. Look at what's his name from the Raiders, Hayward Bay. Hayward Bay was average at best. But when he ran that 40, he shot up in talent. So if you're one of these skill players that have to move around like a defensive lineman, linebacker, wide receiver, running back, cornerback, your 40 time could literally move you up rounds in the draft. You could be a 4th round talent. And if you run like a 4.3 or 4.2, you can jump from a 4th round. And in some cases, depending on position, you could jump to the 1st round. And I'm not joking about that. You don't see us drafting all offensive line guys early? No. I don't see it. Not after the free agent signings that we had. I think we re-signed at least 3 or 4 offensive linemen. I think it was 3 of them. I don't think we're going to go. I would be surprised if we go offensive line early. Because at one point, I thought the number 8 pick was going to be offensive line. Because Caleb McGarry was just Caleb McGarry, you know. All Spike Hair alum must go. You know, that was my original thought process, was they'll go offensive line. And then people started talking pass rush, and I was on board with that. And then I saw Sauce Gardner. And I made an episode about that. Him and A.J. Terrell. I think Gardner, based on his production at Cincinnati, is worth the 8th pick. But you turn around and get Casey Hayward. Okay, you got Casey Hayward. Then you turn right back around, and then you do this press conference saying that you're going to 4 different schools looking for a quarterback. or you're looking at these quarterbacks. You don't go to these 4 schools and you're going to say we're going to draft a quarterback in the 2nd or 3rd round. You don't do that. If the right guy that they look at, out of, let's say for instance, if what am I about to say? If Malik Willis is available at number 8 and that's their guy, I believe them taking him. If Kenny Pickett is their guy at number 8, they're going to pick that guy. You don't go to all these schools and say, "Oh, we're going to wait to the 3rd round." That's my, like I said, I feel 80, 75% confident that that's the case. I believe that's about 75 to 85% confident that that's what they're going to do. But got about 5 more minutes. Let me know what else y'all think. Before I'm gonna get out of here. Any more comments, questions, concerns? What do you think about everything? But I think I do like the direction that the Falcons are going in at the end of the day. Really taking in everything that I know now. I'm not against where they're going now. The whole Matt Ryan situation, moving on from him, their reasoning behind it, the reasoning behind it. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, the reasoning behind it. What they plan on doing in the future. Yo, what about Amari Barno ran a 4.3 to 4.2? What about him? You think we should get him? You think we should pick him up? Because like I told you, when you run a 4.3 that low, when you run a 40 that low, that you can literally jump, draft, rounds. You can go from a 5th to a 3rd, in some case maybe a 5th to a 2nd. If you're that fast. Because they put a lot of stock in the 40. If Neil Conwu falls to us, hell yes, unless you sold him. Oh, now ain't nobody sold on him. What receivers do I like in the 2nd or 3rd round? I like Pickens. I do like the kid from Christian. Oh goodness, the kid from the. I like Chris. Is it Christian Watson? I think I like him. Even though injury wise, I do like the guy from USC. How does that translate? You think? No, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that it translates that I think he's good. It's just that if you're talking about Barnum, I'm just telling you what they think about when you go through these draft classes. When you go through these draft classes and you see stuff like that happen, when you see a guy run that fast, their stock just jumps up. That's what GMs do. I think Neal is a generational tackle. Ekonwu is another one. I'm okay with it, but I'm okay with it getting a lineman. I thought I could say I think that was the first. That was the first look. Cross. Okay, cross. I'm not good with names. You guys have to forgive me. McGarry owes us an organization a refund. I agree. Lindstrom turned out to be really good. I think Lindstrom was like the only guy on the line that didn't give up a sack or something like that. They're pretty good. And I think Jalen Mayfield is stepped up. I mean, I thought he was going to be like really, really terrible. So yeah, let me know what you guys think at the end of the day, man. I like the direction we're going now, knowing everything that I know. Next year, who said that earlier? Yeah, King T'Challa said he think 22 is going to be a fun year. I think it's going to be a fun year. This is going to really test who are fans and who are not. This is going to test out who are fans and who are not. It's going to let you know who really wants to be here to see this team succeed, or who's going to be here that just wanted to complain that Matt Ryan was the quarterback. This year's going to tell you who's who. So I like the direction that they're going. I like what they did overall. I kind of don't like how the way they went about it, but it's a business. The direction is actually pretty neat. Quarterback they're looking at quarterbacks is kind of like, they kind of threw me for a loop a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. One more time, if y'all got anything real quick, we've been for an hour and 45. I'm gonna wait till about an hour and 50, and then we out of here. I can't wait to say, man, all we need is, yeah. It's gonna be really interesting to see how many people sit here and say, we need a quarterback. We have, it's gonna be interesting. All residue from the Super Bowl is washing out. I'm fine. Georgia boy. Okay. I don't know who Charles Cross is. I don't know. I was looking at Neal and Okonkwo as far as tackles. Those are only two I really There's another guy that I looked at too, but I haven't really followed him that much. But definitely Okonkwo and Neal. Those are the two tackles that I really liked. Hold on. Top offensive tackles. I was looking at this at one point. Yeah, Neal, Okonkwo, Charles Cross out of Mississippi State. Those like the only three that I see. Trevor Penning from Northern Iowa. I don't know who that is. So, okay. Charles Cross is a dog out of Mississippi. 6'5", 300 pounds. Out of Mississippi State. Redshirt sophomore. So he hasn't played much college ball. He played 2 years. Okay. Okay. I see where y'all coming at with that. I can see that. I can see that. Okay. So if we was to go offensive line, so it's Neal, Okonkwo, and Cross. Because I like Neal and Okonkwo. Definitely, I like Neal a lot. I think Jacksonville's probably going to try to snatch him up, though. Cornbread eater out of Mississippi State. Yeah, I'm looking at him right now. All the other ones, I'm looking at Penning, Kennard, Lucas, Tyler Smith, Daniel Falele. Okay, no. Yeah, it's just those three from what I see. A lot of these guys I don't know too much about. Mayfield better step his ass up, even though he was a rookie last year. Having the worst pass blocking efficiency in the league is unacceptable. Yeah, I agree. Now, I will say this. I think the last 6 games, I think he did a lot better. Because those first 8 to 10 games were like, I ain't gonna say 8 to 10. The first 6 or 7 games were horrible. I think they were horrible. So I think you're looking at a situation where now, year 2, he should step up big time. He shouldn't have those growing pains. Trayvon Walker, Falcons wide got Trayvon Walker at 8? Really? I'm gonna look into this and then I'm gonna get up out of here. Nah, I don't see that. Yeah, I don't see that. Not after this press conference. I don't see that. Hold on one second, y'all. Nah, I don't see it. Nah, I don't see it. Mayfield was injured for a moment. He was. But I think he did pretty good around the end of the season. I think he did a lot better than the beginning of the season. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and slide up out of here. Thank y'all guys for being here. I really appreciate it. We're about at the 1 hour and 50-minute mark, almost 2 hours. I got to get some other work done as far as content creating. If this is your first time here, hit the like button, share this information, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to Miss Maggie T for coming through. Shout out to Atlanta Falcons Nation. They always, been supporting me for the most part for what I do, even though I'm in the background most of the time, but I really appreciate that. And I see a lot of faces from those comment sections over there at Atlanta Falcons Nation coming over here to show me some support. I really appreciate that. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. I will be back. I'll probably put another episode up for the podcast thing, the Avenue, and I will be back on tomorrow at 9 a.m. with more content. I don't just talk about Atlanta Falcons football. I also talk about Georgia Southern football. That's why you see the other two helmets here, the Falcons and the Georgia Southern Eagles. Georgia Southern just started their they started practice this week, so that's interesting. I want to see what they do over there because Georgia Southern is about to be. I'm gonna tell you something, guys. Georgia Southern is going to be a very interesting team to watch. If you haven't been watching what they're doing in Statesboro, you need to watch now. We ended up getting Coach Helton from USC, the University of Southern California. He's the coach now. And what Georgia Southern used to do as far as running the ball all the time, that's about to change. It's going to be really exciting to see that. I know Georgia State is up there in Atlanta for all you Atlanta folks. And y'all are used to probably looking at Georgia State. I know y'all definitely like looking at the Georgia Bulldogs. But Georgia Southern is my school. I went to that school, so I'm used to that school. And that's my team. I'm going to ride with them. So I'm going to have information on there. If there's a team you want to look at, I think it's going to be really exciting to watch them as well. So I'll have some information on that. Thank you, Bruce Wayne. I really appreciate it. First time talking with real fans. Hey, that's what we do. You got to be real fans. You can't be a fan of a player. You got to be a team. You got to be a fan of the team. At the end of the day, you really have to be a fan of the team. And that's what it's really about. When you're a fan of the team, you have better dialogue about the entire team. You guys could teach me something about the team and vice versa. I didn't know Grady Jarrett, was the son of Jesse Tuggle. I didn't know that. I learned about Charles Cross today. I learned a lot. Yeah, 16 people hit the like button, people. I learned a lot today. And I don't know if y'all learned anything from me because, I'm just a fan behind the microphone. I don't think I know a lot. I just react to a lot of things. But we learn about each other. We learn football IQ because it's very easy, and I'm going to end on this. It's very easy to say, hey, I like that player, and we all just talk about how much we like that player and not learning about why we're winning and losing football games. We can love Michael Vick as much as we want, but to be honest, how much did we really learn about the team under the Michael Vick experience? Honestly. We know of Brian Finneran. We know of, Warwick Dunn. We knew enough of those players, but we didn't know the team. With the Matt Ryan haters have no idea what this team collectively is about. At least you guys here know about everybody on this team and what they do. Matt Ryan haters are just here to see, okay, did they all lose another game? Okay, it's Matt Ryan's fault. You know what I'm saying? That's all what Matt Ryan haters and critics know about Matt Ryan. We're here for the team. Brooks Pangle from Augusta will be a beast for the Eagles. I agree. People know about Algie Crumpler, right? But you don't know about the team. We're learning things about the team and how the team works. We learned a lot from this press conference because we learned information about the team. And that's what it's about. Brooks Pangle is going to be nice. I agree. But we got like 6 other quarterbacks that's competing. So, that, like I said, it's going to be really exciting for Georgia Southern because we got a lot of quarterbacks that's there that's going to be good. But, yeah, I'm going to get into that at a later time. Hey, man, I might need to do more lives just to talk to you guys instead of having a pre-recorded show. I may have to step in here and do a live like every, once a week or something. I may have to do that. I'll find a date and time and do that. All right, y'all, I'm going to get up out of here. We'll look into all that information and we'll talk at a later time. All right, y'all, I appreciate y'all a lot. I really do. All right, y'all. Y'all be easy. Y'all be blessed. Have a great Wednesday. All right, y'all. I'm out. Peace.